Wow.
Hello, I'm Jeff and welcome to my channel. I've been asked to show a little bit more of my fossil collection by some of my viewers, and so I'm going to walk through some of the fossils I didn't show last time. So this is the second of these fossil videos that I've made. But I want to start off with something else that people have asked me about. This thing, which we always called the throne when I was growing up, and there's a nice picture of me sitting on this throne when I was probably about 10 years old. This was a piece of furniture that my great-grandfather bought in Jamestown, Rhode Island, probably 100 years ago. And he bought it from a Presbyterian minister who had bought it sight unseen off of a ship that had come into Jamestown, Rhode Island. And the minister's wife didn't think this was appropriate for a Presbyterian minister to have in his home, so he sold it to my great-grandfather for $5. So these are the display cases that hold my fossils, and I showed quite a few of these last time, but there were a lot of things that I didn't share. Things like this interesting pair of fish that are from an area in Lebanon. This is, I don't remember having seen these very often, but this species, these tentaculites, I think it may be pronounced, they've gone completely extinct. There's no ancestor of these that's still alive on the earth. This trilobite is one that you can find in lots and lots of rock shops. They must be very common. They're kind of chunky, but they're kind of cool also. There's a place in Utah that has lots and lots of these very flat Elrathia kingi trilobites, and these are very, very common. Various sorts of snail, gastropod kinds of things. These are more recent. They're not especially old. These lived more recently than when the dinosaurs went extinct. These are kind of interesting to me because they're related to ammonites, but they have this long, peculiar shell that sticks out the end, and I don't know what kind of evolutionary advantage that would have given them, but they are very, very old. They lived close to 500 million years ago. Down toward the bottom of this case, I have some other large things. This is another pair of fish that died side by side. I'm sorry about the reflection. An enormous, well, not enormous by ammonite standards, but enormous by my collection. This is about a foot across. There's a place in Texas where these are fairly common. They're not especially attractive, but it's still interesting just because of the size. As I mentioned in the first video, some ammonites were as large as 6 feet across, 2 meters across in diameter. So, and these were the primary predators in the ocean for a long, long period of time. This is another type of fossil you find very commonly in rock and mineral shops. They almost always have been polished in this same way. I don't actually know what the body was like. I picture it kind of being like a straight ammonite with a little kind of squid head at the end, but I honestly don't know if that's the case. There's lots of different kind of morphologies of the ammonites. I always love the shape of this spiral. There's ones that, depending on how they were mineralized, they have different colors. I wouldn't guess that the ammonites themselves were this color, just the minerals that formed during the fossilization process. These ones I think are really cool, and I like that one enough to actually put it in the one and only fossil display brass stand that I own. They're little tiny things. I think I shared this mass mortality the last time. There's some of these ammonites that kind of look translucent after the crystallization and fossilization. I just think this one is beautiful. It's not large. It's maybe a centimeter and a half in diameter. And finally, I have some other larger samples. A large leaf fossil here. Sorry again about the reflections. Maybe you can go inside. Another fairly large kind of chunky ammonite, but with really interesting ribbing. And I think I mentioned this mass mortality plate last time as well. When I was talking about crinoids last time, I mean, there's lots and lots of places where you find crinoid stems. This is a very common type of fossil to be able to find in all across the world. And so these are just a variety of different stems. and this one has a whole bunch of them, but just really interesting little things that you can find almost anywhere in the world. So I hope you enjoyed seeing a little more of my collection. It's always kind of fun to share my passion for fossils with other people, so I hope you like it.
Wow.